Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a couple spreads in my reading journal, and I've been trying to catch up with this. I'm still doing spreads from 2023 right now, um, but I'm doing like large spreads for all of the books that I read in 2023. Um, and I do double or single spreads depending on how much I have to say about the book. Usually, sometimes it'll depend on how much um, space I have um, between where I'm starting and where I put the 2023 like recap printout things from the book app that I use. And I do the same um, basic structure every time. I put the cover image in the top left hand corner with the star rating sticker underneath it. I always do like a frame of highlighter, and I pick a color for the spread depending on the cover and the washi and stickers I'm going to use. And then I take my label maker, and on clear label paper I print out a strip that says like title, author, genre, series, page count, like a bunch of stuff. And then I line those up right along the side. That usually gives me plenty of room to write everything there. And honestly, taking these apart is my least favorite step in the entire process because it's the most tedious, and it's like the teeny tiny little strips of plastic that you have to take off, and you have to do it like, I don't know, 7 or 8 times in a row, something like that. So when I'm doing multiple spreads like back to back, it starts to kind of hurt my fingers a little bit. Also, when I was filming this, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but my fingers were like purple because they were so cold. It was so cold in my house this night that my hands were like, they were freezing, and it like almost hurt to move them because they were so cold. I I don't know why it was that cold where I am. I live in Florida. It should not be that cold. It was like, I don't know, it must have been in the low 40s outside, which means in my house it was probably somewhere between 60 and 65 degrees, which to me is way too cold for an interior temperature. I am much more comfortable in the 70 to 75 range, honestly, closer to the 75 of that range. It's probably, mm, I don't know, 69 or 70 degrees in my house right now, and I am wearing fluffy socks and my toes are still cold. I don't do well with the cold. So my hands were, um, in the beginning when I first started, like it like hurt to move them, and it felt like I don't know, I don't know, I was just really struggling. I think as I went on though, it moving my hands around and stuff warmed them up, so it wasn't so bad. Um, so this is the like structure that I use. When I'm doing a single page spread, I do um, coordinating washi on the bottom, and usually I use like one main washi, usually the thicker of the two, and I do it like across the whole bottom, and then I do an accent piece like this, like I'm doing. When I do a 2 page spread, I clearly put them on both the bottom of both pages and the top of the second one. I have these stickers. Honestly, these don't stick down super well. These are, what are these? Are these Happy Planner stickers? Yeah, these are Happy Planner like bullet journaling stickers. The planning stickers, they're in, I think the name of the sticker book is just like something about bullet journaling. I don't know. But I felt like the gold of these went perfectly. Uh, so this book, I absolutely love this book. The only thing is not about the book, but about the spreads is I forgot to fill out the star rating. I did not really forget. I did forget at first, but then I decided that it made more sense to wait and do it when I fill the spreads out, which I don't do in these videos, just because it's like, I mean, it's kind of a tedious process to film the actual like filling out of the spreads. But once I have them all filled out, I will eventually do like a full flip through. But I really, really enjoyed this book. So here's the thing. I didn't really get into reading the way that I'm into it now until the second half of last year. Um, and before that, I read maybe a couple books a year, uh, maybe. But I got back into reading last year. And the thing is I feel like I was just so excited to start like to be reading again and to read genres I'd never read before that when I was reading these books, I wasn't really um, not that I wasn't paying attention because I was, because like I remember the books just fine. I feel like I was just like very generous with my ratings at this point in time. But the thing is, I gave this book a 5 star, and just based off of my memory of it, I would give it a 5 star again. However, I feel like there's a possibility that if I were to read it again right now, like over a year later, that I maybe would give it closer to like a 4 star. I don't know. So I think at some point I may start going through and like trying to reread some of my 5 star books from 2023 and seeing if I still feel the same. But I did really like this book. So this is like a dark academia, dark romance type situation, and I thought it was very interesting. I There was a one scene in particular that is coming to mind right now that I very much enjoyed. Um, the only thing that makes me upset about this book is that the ending very clear, like, doesn't just leave it open for a possible second. It makes it very clear that there's meant to be a second book, and there is not a second book yet. So that makes me mad at the book because I want a second book. I want it. I need it. I need to know what happens. I feel like the story and the setup is very interesting, and there's a lot of potential there. And so it frustrates me because I want to read what happens next, but also I feel like the book not coming out is like wasted potential of this first book. And I really hate when that happens. Um, because like it's really frustrating when a book clearly sets up other plot points that are not explored, and then either another book never comes out or the next book just ignores those completely. And in this case, the book just never came out, so I'm sad. But I do really like it. Next, I'm doing, I think this is 2 single spreads that I'm doing actually. Picture of Dorian Gray. I don't remember what rating I gave this. Probably a 4 star. I don't remember. But I enjoyed the book. I, not a single one of the characters in this book is likable, though. Uh, but I did find it very fascinating. there was one, there's there's one aspect to the book where I don't know. I feel like, so if you've ever seen Sweeney Todd, if you haven't, I'm sorry, this is a major spoiler. And if you haven't, you should go see it. So maybe skip a couple minutes if you haven't seen it and you want to, because it's very good. But if you've ever seen Sweeney Todd, the big twist of the movie is that the barber's wife that everybody thought was dead wasn't dead. She was like a homeless beggar woman. Um, in the picture of Dorian Gray, there was a character that made me think of the homeless beggar woman who turned out to be the barber's wife. But there's nothing in the book that really even suggests that she could be the dead ex girlfriend ish person of Dorian Gray. However, I think that that would be a very interesting twist. That ever because the whole thing is like the brother. So Dorian was a butthead, and he caused her to uh, leave this realm. And the brother was very eaten up about it. Uh, Obviously, like, oh, I do a double spread for this. That's interesting. Don't remember doing a double spread for this, but oh no, I took the washi off because I started doing it and I realized, why am I doing this? Anyway, I think I get pretty far. I forgot to cut this part out apparently, but so he's absolutely horrid to this girl who he's like courting, and he breaks things off with her, and she's absolutely destroyed because she's like in love with him. She thought they were gonna get married, um, and he just ends things like abruptly and super rudely for a really stupid reason. And so she decides that she can't live anymore. So she departs this realm, and the brother is understandably distraught. And at one point in the book, he runs into the brother, but because he hasn't aged, he convinces the brother that it's not him, that he's a different person who just looks similar to him. And then there's this old woman, they're outside like an opium den or something, and this old woman comes up to him after he lets Dorian go. She comes up to the brother and she's like, "Oh, don't you know who that is? That really was Dorian Gray. Like, he doesn't age." Like, she said something to him about it. And it's just like, it's such a random, like, thing to put in there for it to not be his sister. You know what I mean? And it's not like so crazy that he wouldn't have recognized her if he was, or if she was his sister, because in Sweeney Todd he didn't recognize that it was his wife because she was all like got stuff on her face and dark, she was dirty and her hair was all scraggly. So it's completely understandable that he wouldn't have realized that it was his sister if it was his sister. You know what I mean? But there's really nothing in the book that makes like suggests that it's her. That's just the first thing that popped into my head, and I kind of, in my head it's true. In my head that's her. But then I was thinking, like, how would they not know that she wasn't actually dead? You know what I mean? I don't know how they wouldn't know that she wasn't actually dead. So I don't know how you reconcile that, but in my mind, it makes the story much more interesting. So she's the sister in my head. Probably none of that made any sense, but the book was very. The people in the book they're not good people. They're not likable people. Um, Dorian Gray actually starts off as like a decent person, and he meets some guy in the beginning of the book and starts to like hang on his every word and turns him into a complete a-hole. Oh, you could see me like squeezing my hands together because I was trying to warm them up and they were freezing. Oh, okay. So on to A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon, and I actually put the same washi back at the bottom because it went well with the cover anyway. So using the washi after all. This book was cute. I think I gave this 3 stars. It's a romance, and romance is just not my preferred genre. If I'm going to read a romance, it pretty much needs to be fantasy romance or smutty. I don't know. I really prefer fantasy romance though. Like smutty or not smutty, I don't care. I like it. This book was cute. It was not closed door, but it was like it was mostly closed door, but like a little the door was cracked open a little bit. Teeny tiny bit. I don't know if that's actually like a good explanation, but you get what I mean. But pretty much, this witch named Muriel is like convinced that she's the absolute worst at magic. Like all her spells fail. Her mom is super hard on her, and like her mom's always trying to get her to find a man and everything. And one day she's trying to do a spell and she accidentally summons a demon. And the whole thing with demons, but she summons a like contractual demon, like a demon that makes contracts. And the whole thing with them is they literally can't go anywhere until you make a deal with them. Um, and so you make your deal and they take your soul. Uh, it was cute. It was very predictable. Um, I don't really know. I don't have too much to say about this book. It wasn't, there was nothing like bad about it. It was very much so like reading a paranormal Hallmark movie. And you know, I don't mind Hallmark movies. I don't think they're the greatest, but they're a guilty pleasure in the Christmas times, you know? Um, but yeah, that's what I would say this book is. It's like a paranormal Hallmark movie in a book. Um, so if you like those vibes, then do for you. But I have read the second one of this also, and I feel like I was intrigued at the end of the book more than I was during the rest of the book because at the end of the book it like gave you a little, I don't know, cliffhanger ish type situation where you find out like the bad guy is not really the way that you think he is, and that fascinated me. I ended up like I'm pretty sure I gave the second book a 3 star also. I think I liked it more than the first one, but it just wasn't, I don't know. It was definitely smuttier for sure the second one. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't feel compelled to read the third one, even though I'm sure it would be fine. It's like, it's just not, I don't think that I would give it more than 3 stars. So, I don't know that there's really a point right now when I have a lot of other books that I like think I will like way more. Maybe I'll read it eventually. I did try to get it on Libby at one point, or I did get it on Libby. I don't remember the third one, but I just never got around to reading it, so it got returned. Oh well. So I am almost done decorating this page, and decorating these pages has been so fun, and it also has been getting me through so many stickers, which is basically like a new passion of mine lately is getting through sticker sheets, and there's just something so satisfying about using up a sticker sheet. I don't know what it is, but I love it. So, uh, yep, there's my stickers. And eventually I will go back and write in my thoughts, my review in those highlighted boxes. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time.